Bang, bang, Niner gang. What's going on, Faithful? It's your boy, Nick, 49er Faithful 365, and we are back again to bring you another fun-filled episode here on the Nothing But Niners YouTube page. Look, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Give us that like and hit that subscribe, and make sure you set that bell for notifications as well, so you know when we go to impromptu videos and things like that. If this is also your first time here, you can give us a follow on Twitter and Snapchat at Nothing But 9ERS. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. If it's your first time here on the Facebook Live group page, make sure you type in your name and give permission to StreamYard so that we can see your name when we post comments. You can check out our website at www.nothingbutniners.com, where you'll see a bunch of great articles written by a slew of great writers over there. And you can also see our fan page. And if you want to send in anything to the fan page of you in any type of 49ers apparel at the games or whatever it may be, you, your pet, your vehicles, whatever it is, you can send that to this email at nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com. Guys, we got a long show tonight to bring to you. We're going to talk a little bit of things about the things that happened today with the trade, and we're also going to go into the preview part one of this upcoming week game of Carolina and San Francisco playing in Santa Clara. But before I do all that, let me bring in my homies here. Mike, what is going on?
Yo, Niner gang, what's going on, faithfuls? How y'all doing out there, man? It's been a long day already, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Can't wait to break it down.
Yes. And we also got the hype train, hype man himself in here, 49ers. Wayne Breezy, what's going on, baby?
Yeah, baby. What's going on, fellas, man? It's good to be back. Let's get it cracking.
Let's get it cracking. Mike, so we brought a breaking news video earlier about this Emmanuel Sanders trade, and you've had a little bit of time to let it settle in. I'd seen you were talking in the group a little bit here and there about what you kind of expect from this or what you think of this whole thing. And we didn't talk to Wayne yet on this, but I want to see what your opinion is for the last 4 hours or so, I guess, since we made the trade of Emmanuel Sanders. And what does he bring to this team and what we gave up and things like that? What are your complete thoughts on it?
The short version is I think he's here to replace somebody this season. I think somebody is not coming back that the Niners thought was coming back, and he's here to replace them. That's what I think.
Are you going to say who?
I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if it's Trent Taylor. I don't know if it's Marquise Goodwin. They want to get rid of him, maybe. I don't know. But there's somebody in this locker room that is not coming back, I think, this season.
Somebody being cut this season. Interesting. Wayne, so we haven't talked to you yet. I know you didn't get the notification right away because you come in the room like, wait, how did I miss this? So
yeah, I was at work. I was going over some music with the kids, and I got caught up in the music. I got caught up in singing the right stuff. Don't ask me why we was doing that song. It just what was in my spirit. We was doing it. And when I kicked them out of the room finally, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? With the check in my bros, I'm like, I missed this, yo. Let me tell you about this Emmanuel Sanders trade. Look, I've been saying it that we needed a receiver. I've been saying that we needed a big body receiver. I was specific about what I wanted, but I ain't the one that controlled the chips on this team. You know what I'm saying? I definitely love the trade. I love it. We gave up a third and a fourth, and we got back him and a fifth. And last time I checked, we got a great pick in the fifth round. So I think Kyle, I think they know what they're doing. I definitely know what they're doing. You got to trust them. You got to trust these guys, man. They got us at 6-0 right now. And even though we don't know sometimes what they be thinking or what they be doing when they be picking or drafting or trading or whatever like that, we got to trust the process. We got to trust what they're doing. And again, trusting the process got us to be 6-0 at this moment. So Emmanuel Sanders, welcome. I'm gonna call you He-Manuel Sanders since we already got an E-Man. We can't give you that name, brother. Sorry. So I'm gonna call you He-Man. And welcome. I don't know what number you're gonna wear. But I'm glad to have him as a 49er. And let me tell you, this having a receiver, he would probably be the best receiver we've had since Terrell Owens, bro. I like the best caliber receiver that we've had since T.O., man. You could say no, but I mean, name some. Shut me up. I'm willing.
You know, Randy Moss was here after T.O., right?
Yeah, but Randy Moss was on.
Yeah, Randy Moss was washed though when he was here.
Yeah, he was on the decline of the decline.
I thought you just meant in general. I'm about to say because Moss was definitely here. I didn't know you meant like what you mean as far as how they're going to contribute to the team.
I got you, but when we got Moss, when we had Randy Moss, Moss was nothing but a decoy. He took the top off the defense the whole season. I think he caught 3 passes that season because they never threw to him because he was always double covered, maybe triple covered. And that allowed Kaepernick to be free. Like it allowed him to freed up some stuff. See, people don't talk about that. But I think he would probably be I think if Hield, we didn't see him a lot this year in Denver. They didn't use him because they was trying to trade him. So let's see what happens, man. We got to.
Well, you can't say they didn't use him. I mean, he's got 30 receptions for 367 yards.
My bad.
I mean, obviously they're a struggling offense and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, and 2 touchdowns. So, obviously it's a struggling offense over there with Flacco. Just in general, that offense isn't moving the football very well. Have a lot of injuries, things like that. But I mean, Mike, we were talking about this earlier. I said he may have, more numbers than any of our receivers. And George Kittle right now is the leading receiver on this team with 376 yards. But we said it was like 30 or 40 differences in yards between Emmanuel Sanders and the rest of our receiving core, as in the wide receiver position. So what we get from Emmanuel Sanders is I'm kind of interested to see where they utilize him at. Is it going to be more so in the slot? Is it going to be outside? In Denver, he kind of did both, but more so inside. So it's going to be interesting to see how we use him for that. So overall, like I said earlier, man, I know people are saying that, it's not that much of a draft capital. It really isn't. The only reason that I'm so worried about the draft picks in general is because if we don't re-sign him, yes, we'll get a comp pick for him, probably a 3rd or a 4th, depending. But next year, if you don't re-sign him, you're still throwing a pick out the window because you're going to get 1 back. You got a 5th back. So right now we pick what? 1 first, 2 fifths, a 6th, and 2 7ths. That's what we have right now. With getting the 5th trade back. Earlier you did say, Mike, that John Lynch works better in the later rounds, and there is some sense to that, but there also, I mean, I gotta go back and think about all the draft picks that we had in the first couple rounds. Other than Solomon Thomas, I mean, he's been pretty good in the first round. Obviously, Bosa and Mcglinchey. And second round was Dante Pettis, which we haven't really seen what we have so far. 3rd round was Deebo Samuel. Kittle was a 5th round pick. Hurd was a 3rd round pick.
Deebo wasn't a 2nd round pick. I thought Deebo was our 2nd round pick.
Yeah, Deebo was a 2nd. I said 3rd.
Yeah,
my bad. Deebo and Pettis were 2nds.
He used the other 2nd. The first year that he got Solomon Thomas, he moved up to get Reuben Foster at the end of the 1st round.
Right. I thought Pettis was a 3rd round pick. Am I wrong? He was a 2nd round pick?
Yeah, okay. Pettis was a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
And then your other 3rd round pick is CJ Beathard, which, for better or worse, he stuck around on the team for 4 years somehow. Well, 3 years so far, 3 years and counting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then after that, you had Joe Williams that didn't really shake out.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Last year, who are we picking? That was the corner, right? I can't. I'm having a brain fart. I know we got Fred Warner. Huh?
Tim Harris. Fred Warner was a late round pick. He was a 4th round pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, the drafts over the last 2 years have been really good. Other than obviously the Reuben Foster pick, but that's not on John Lynch. That there was a lot of talent there. Akello was a good pick. What was he, a 3rd? Akello was a 3rd round pick. So I mean, other than that, I mean his drafts have been pretty decent. Other than the Reuben Foster, the Joe Williams, but I think that was more on Kyle wanting him. CJ Beathard, but like you said, Mike, we can't really say he's made this team. He's competed for that spot. So, I mean, it's just, even though they're late round picks, and I know everybody's saying, Nick, you're overthinking this. You're thinking too much into it. No, I'm really not. Like, if this guy is a win now, I want to continue to win. I don't want to just get one and then be done.
That's not how it works. The win now means we're winning this year.
We're winning now.
Right.
Emmanuel Sanders isn't a future. He's not a future pick. This is the win now thing.
Right.
No, correct. It is a win now thing. I understand that. I'm saying I just want to make sure that if you're bringing him in here, you get him for at least another year. You're not just throwing picks out the window.
The way I'm looking at this whole situation is they're building something, like they're trying to build a dynasty, right? And they believe if they go out and get one, it would own some type of prestige to where cats are going to want to play here in San Francisco. Cats might take pay cuts. Cats might do this. They're trying to. I'm not comparing us at all. Like, I'm not trying to compare us at all to the New England Patriots, but that mold, you can try to see that mold is what Shanahan and Lynch are trying to set. Lynch out here trying to let John Elway know he suck. You got Shanahan trying to let the whole world know he's the greatest coach in football, and that's the mode that we're trying to set. I thought I was a little upset when they went after when the Patriots went and got Sano this month. I wasn't upset. I was just like, man, I didn't want San Francisco to give up a second round pick for Sano. That's not what I was saying. I was saying that we need to be all gas on being better. I think my man Croc said it best. Yo, we're 6-0. This is a situation where we need to be all in. Like, you can't afford to miss this window, this opportunity, because they shrink really fast. And unless you're the New England Patriots, their window somehow, due to their division, due to who they play and when they play, at what time they play, it always goes through them. I think that's what San Francisco is trying to create on the NFC West, bro. And we know that the LA Rams are going to be stuck in some money situations come. We just got to waive this whole Russell Wilson to he get old and shit stuff, and then he'll fade out, and then everything is going to have to come through San Francisco. And then it will be a dynasty, and it will be what we needed, what we've been trying to do for decades, bro. San Francisco was the junk, and they're trying to bring that back. And I think, my man, I think that's what's going on here. And I think we're just gonna have to sit back and do a Bill Belichick and just say, hey, man, F the picks. Let's go out here and get these players. Our culture is winning. Our boys are playing, and we're gonna just keep bringing in certain type of players to keep this energy flowing. It's got to be that. It's got to be that.
I mean, there's two ways that you can look at this, right? It's what are we doing to our future, or you can look at it and say our future's already okay. We have the building blocks here. Shanahan believes in Trent Taylor. He believes in Deebo Samuel. He did at some point believe in Dante Pettis. You know what I'm saying? We've got the quarterback. We've got the linebacker. We've got the two edge rushers. We've got the linebacker next to the other linebacker. We got the things that we need to acquire. That list is doing this. It's shrinking by the day. We can win now, and the foundation is here already. The tackles here already. You know what I mean? We got that guy up there already. The center, he's here. He's under long-term contract. You know what I'm saying? Even if we lose a guy like Matt Breida, we're not picking a running back high in the draft. That's not what Shanahan does. That's not what he does. You know what I'm saying? Matt Breida's a UDFA. He didn't even get drafted. You know what I'm saying? The pieces to maintain success, they already in the building. Now we're just trying to put the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? And so there's nothing that we were going to draft in the upcoming third round that's going to help us win a Super Bowl this year.
Or the fourth.
Well, obviously. I mean, you're not drafting this year. So obviously.
That's my point, though.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think you guys are taking it out of context as me saying this is the wrong move for right now. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is the right move to win right now. Yes. But there's also you also, where you said, Wayne, you're building a dynasty. Well, you're not building a dynasty without draft picks. You're not doing it.
But we have, but but we still have a first. We could flip that, probably get 2 seconds, right? So now you got more picks. Like, what if we're picking in the first round? I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. If we're picking late in the first round, mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, we might as well flip that, give that to some. Didn't we do that 2 years ago to get back in the first round? We might as well. We got to trust Lynch. At this point, we got to trust. I trust him. I know it was skeptical in the beginning because we were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then the Reuben Foster thing didn't pan out. Let me tell you something, man. Kwalik Alexander has been a better linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers than Reuben was in his 2 years that he played here. And the Quan only played 6 games because he missed one.
And he's younger.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. So
yeah, Quan's younger than Reuben.
So somebody posted on the side, if you're reading these comments, I think it was my man Mike. Yo, we're young. We're still young. I don't, you know what? My only downfall, there's 2 things I'm not strong at, but that's why I got all y'all. I'm not strong at watching film, and I'm not strong at the contract situations. But if I'm not mistaken, like, we're pretty decent on these contract situations. And being that we are a young team and only have to pay certain people when it comes down to it, like DeForest Buckner, if they stick with Buckner. What if they decide to let Buckner test the market? The fans might not like it. And that's what I'm trying to say to my fans. I know it's hard. Guys, to let go of people. I get it. But we got to develop that mindset that we're trying to continue success. And sometimes you got to let go for stuff to happen. I love everything piece we got on this team. I don't want to see anybody walk, not Armstead, not Breida, not any of the free agents coming up in this year's free agency. But that's not how the game works. And at the end of the day, we got to say bump draft picks. And if the New England Patriots let Vince Wilfork go, bro. I thought that dude was going to be a Patriot till he died. They let him go to Houston and he died in Houston, right? He wasn't Vince Wilfork anymore. My point is, we got to know when to ship him out, and move forward. And that's what this team is probably going to be doing. Think about the way Parag set up them contract situations, bro. It's easy in, easy out for us to continue to build. I get it. We can't build without draft picks, but I think there's a way to freak picks with trades and all this kind of stuff coming up in the future, man. I think we just gonna have to ride this out and continue to be on that success that we're on right now, bro.
And like you're saying, I mean, right now it's, Niners fans, including myself, we haven't won a Super Bowl in,
94, bro.
You know what I mean? So we're going back to where, yes, does this piece help us right now? Yes, it 100% absolutely does. Do I like the aggressiveness that John Lynch and company are showing, because you're in win now mode, just like the Patriots are? You heard people say, damn, the Patriots are 7-0 and they're still trading for receivers, right? Well, that's where the Niners are right now. They're 6-0. They're trading for receivers. Emmanuel Sanders comes in here as the best wide receiver that's on this team right now. People can at me or argue with me on that, whatever they want to do.
Tag me too, because you're right, 100%.
But the truth is, he comes in here in the building. He's the best receiver that we have right now, hands down. Even this year, he's the best receiver we have right now. Go ahead, Mike. I see you don't agree with that, so go ahead.
I'm not going to touch that, but I do want to say that this year the Seahawks.
Come on, you go make these faces. You got to answer.
Nah, I'm not going to say who's the best receiver here right now. He's 32 years old. Not that 32 is old, but he's not a 27-year-old, 27-year-old running around out there anymore. But I am going to say that about the draft and the compensation we gave up. Look, John Lynch is a guy, he sees something, he likes it. I told you guys about how I had a beef with John Lynch when it started because his infatuation with the Seahawks, right? I was harping on that. Any player from the Seahawks, he wanted to be the Seahawks so bad. But one thing the Seahawks did this past draft is that they started with 4 picks. They ended up with 11 or 12.
Yeah,
they started with only 4. They moved all over that draft board. And when you have a roster that you have all the foundational pieces in it. Look, we could have 12 picks. 12 people aren't making this team next year. we don't have that many holes. There's no need for us to have a ton of picks. Yeah. I do believe that we should trade back. I do believe we have more than just 4 needs or 5. But I think that there's multiple ways of getting that. Right now, the 49ers have $12 million in cap space left after including Sanders' contract. And that's some money that we can still play around with. You can restructure some guys' deals and things like that. There's a lot that can still happen here. And I'm ready, man. I'm ready. It's our year. Y'all already know I put money on the line already. I already got us in the Super Bowl. So,
if you look at it this way too, another thing is if you don't have that many draft picks next year, and let's say you trade out of the first and you go to a second or a third, and you get more draft capital later in the rounds, that's less money you have to put out next year as well. That can go towards a DeForest Buckner contract, go towards an Eric Armstead contract. These guys, whoever you decide that you're going to keep or sign next year, because you don't technically have to re-sign Buckner next year. You could take that money and re-sign Eric Armstead next year for another year.
Oh, Buckner got the 5th-year option.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick. So he has an additional year. So, there's plenty of ways to look at this. And like I said, to me, if we sign this guy for 1 year at minimum, it's worth it. It's just worth it. But I just think that you need to sign him instead of using him as a rental player and giving up that much capital. That's the only thing I have a problem with giving up the capital is if you just bring him here for 8 games, we're just saying 8 games because of the regular season. If you go into the first round of playoffs or second round of playoffs, you lose, you don't know if we're definitely going to win the Super Bowl, right? So, yes, that window is open and it's win now mode, but you could still lose and not win a Super Bowl and then just let the dude walk. Now you gave up too much for him and only got him for 8 to 12 games.
I get you, but it's football, man. It's a gamble, man. It's the way the game is played, bro. It's risk. You gotta be a risk taker in this mother sucker, bro. That's what it all comes down to, man. You gotta take risks. You gotta take leaps and bounds, and you just gotta believe that this is the unit. I'm more concerned. I want to know what the freak Mike is talking about with which receiver is getting cut like that. Like, I don't feel that. I don't see that. I wasn't thinking that. But now I'm thinking that. It's like Nick had me shook last week. Now I'm thinking that. You guys.
Which I was pretty much on point with that last week, too.
Nick, so you know what? You was on point because of the mother freaking weather, bro. Let's don't get it twisted.
I said weather, though.
You didn't factor in no daggone weather, Mike, bro. You wasn't worried about the weather, Nick. Shut up.
Mike,
you was talking about the gameplay and this being a trap game.
We didn't find out.
You didn't mention no weather, Nick.
I said it was going to rain, and Mike even said it on the last live video. Nick was talking about the weather. He was talking about traveling across the coast, playing a 10 a.m. game. Yes, I talked about it because I was the one who posted all the rain stuff in the room, and everybody kept saying, no, it's not going to rain. It's not going to rain. It's only 60%. Oh, it's only this. I'm like, no, it's going to rain.
Okay, Nick, you're right.
But anyway,
you won.
Mike, I want to hear who you think. I'm with Breezy on this. I want to hear who you think because I don't think Jalen Hurd comes back this year.
I don't think he's coming back this year either, guys.
Yeah, I've been trying to play it out in my head, and I can't focus on one thing long enough to decide. Like, I don't think Shanahan makes a trade because of Jalen Hurd. I don't think Jalen Hurd was factored into his long-term plans this season. He was a rookie. I think it would be irresponsible for a mind like Kyle Shanahan to assume Jalen Hurd can come in here and do anything in his system with Jimmy Garoppolo, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's Jalen Hurd. I think maybe we know for a fact he wanted Trent Taylor back within 4 weeks. That's why they didn't IR him right away. We knew that for a fact. And then he was like, damn, he's not ready. We're going to have to put him on IR. Right? I'm wondering if there was a setback with Trent Taylor. I sincerely wonder if that's what it is. Or is it Marquise Goodwin? We talked about this in the offseason. Could the Niners move on from Marquise Goodwin? Right? We said that there are players who are comparable in speed and size as far as Richie James. Right? We were talking about all the ways and the reasons why the team could move on from Marquise Goodwin. Well, Marquise Goodwin just got banged up. I don't know whether or not he had a concussion. Because I know they said that Breida didn't have a concussion, but it was an eye. That's why they kept him out. I don't know why Marquise Goodwin didn't come back in that game.
Marquise
They cleared him from concussion too.
Kyle Shanahan said he came out because of the hit. He was cleared. He went back out for like 2 or 3 plays, but Kendrick Bourne was getting better grip and running routes, so he kept Bourne out there in the mud. And he said he was our mutter. So that's why they kept Goodwin out.
So then what's the point of Goodwin here? Look, it's the deep threat, right? It's to draw the safety over there. But Jimmy can't deliver to him anyway. Why is Goodwin here? So all I'm saying is someone that we thought was going to be able to contribute in a significant way this year suddenly can't, and we need a veteran to do it. That's my logic with this whole thing. But I don't know which guy it is.
We should ask them, man. Ask them who they think might get cut, yo. That's a dope question. That's a dope poll. That's deep, bro. Dang. I need a moment of silence for that one. Because I knew we were gonna add a receiver. I just didn't expect anyone to be depleted from what we had. I thought we were just gonna build on to what we had. Hey, and take this. You know what, Mike? You know what you didn't say? What if someone doesn't get cut? What if we trade Goodwin? What if we trade one of these receivers? The trade deadline's still next week, bro. And Nick wants draft capital. What if we trade Goodwin for a 4th round pick? Now we gain capital. I would do it.
I think, my personal opinion on it is I think you guys are thinking too much into it, because if Hurd doesn't come back, we only have 5 receivers right now. Whatchamacallit likes to carry 6 receivers. The odd man out will be Jordan Matthews this year.
You said that earlier. Why do we only have 5? At this moment, Jordan Matthews is still here. Sanders is here.
Got Jordan, Pettis. Sanders, Pettis.
Well, now that Sanders is here, yeah, there's 6.
There were 6 before.
You got Jordan. Don't forget Bourne. You got Richie James, Jordan, Sanders, Pettis. Who am I missing?
Debo and Bourne.
Debo and Matthews. That's 7.
Right, and Matthews. Yeah.
No, you said Matthews first.
No, I didn't. I said Jordan.
He started over.
I said Jordan
is Matthews.
Pettis. Oh.
You said Matthews. It's Matthews, Bourne. I'm not going to count Sanders. Matthews, Bourne, Debo, Pettis, James. That's it. That's 5. And Goodwin. That's 6.
And then Sanders makes 7.
Sanders makes 7. Yeah.
Right. Sanders makes 7.
That's what we were saying.
That's what we said. You said there was only 5 here. I said no.
And he likes to keep 6.
Right. I'm sorry. There was only 5 before we brought Jordan back in.
Hey, but Jordan been here for 2 weeks.
Right.
So now we got 7. So is one of them getting cut? Is what you're saying?
Well,
so then it would be Matthews.
Well, I think Matthews is going this year, and then and Bourne's contract's up next year.
Dang, my man Bourne. I like that kid, man. I know y'all don't like him, but I like that kid, man.
No, I didn't say. I'm just saying, like that. His contract is up next year.
All right.
So this is my question: is you're saying good? Jimmy Garoppolo can't make the throw to Goodwin, right? That's what you're saying. So,
right. They haven't connected on the depot. Sorry.
But what does Goodwin do? He opens up the middle of the field. What does Emmanuel Sanders do the best? Run across the middle of the field.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
No, Nick is saying that they should work together. Nick is saying that you use.
But I think so too. The only reason why I said that maybe Bourne, if Bourne is, I don't think he's cut. I think he would be traded. If not, I think they would try to work them 2 guys together. And the reason why I would trade Bourne is only way I would trade oh my God, what's his name? Drawing a blank. Only reason I would trade the fast guy, yeah, is because you could get capital for him. I think you would get a fourth or a 5th round pick. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we can get that for him. I think he's too injured and too inconsistent. I mean, we like what he did, and he almost had 1,000 yard here his first year here with Shanahan, but he hasn't come close to that since then. I don't know. I'm not trying to like be a down or anything like that. I like I said, I've been trying to figure out what this thing. I think this is a win now move, and I think that there's someone that they're not confident in. That's all. That makes me okay with this trade though.
I just want to touch base on that because I want to know why you feel that way, because we all know that the pass game has been nothing this year. So to hold that all against Goodwin and saying he's done nothing, you can say the same thing for Pettis. You can say the same thing for Debo.
Why did I blame it on Goodwin?
You just said Goodwin doesn't do anything in this offense. You said he had one good year on. You just said that.
That has nothing to do with the passing game. I'm talking about Goodwin's usage here.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't use the receivers here at all. So
Yeah,
to
we
just
haven't.
put it on Goodwin.
I did. Okay, stop saying it. I didn't put anything all on Goodwin. That you're combining two different arguments here. I'm saying someone here isn't what Shanahan wanted them to be or going to be available. That's what I think is happening here. That's a completely separate argument than how we use wide receivers. I didn't think that we needed to add another wide receiver because I haven't seen the wide receivers being targeted. Everyone's saying the wide receivers are inconsistent, that they're no good. No wide receiver on this team has more than 2 drops. Not a single one of them. Nobody. But when the game was on the line and when it was clutch, Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't targeting the wide receivers in the first half. He walked out of that first half with 10 passing yards. Then all of a sudden it got muddy, and who did he go to? It was Debo. I mean, not Debo. It was Bourne, and it was Richie James. Those guys all of a sudden came up clutch. And that's been my argument the entire season. These guys aren't performing because they're not given opportunities. They're not throwing the ball to these guys. And when they do, they're making plays. So there's a difference in what I'm saying. You can't like just say, oh, well, you said this and you said that and this and this. Boom, it's Goodwin's fault that the offense is.
I only said that because you said, what does Goodwin bring to this team? He hasn't done anything. But I was trying to say that none of the receivers have done anything. If you put all the numbers of the receivers up, our passing game is legitimately not there.
Okay.
So that's all I'm trying to say.
Right, but that doesn't mean that I'm saying Goodwin is the reason that's happening. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they weren't using wide receivers, period. That's a statement all on its own. It has nothing to do with Goodwin or Pettis or Bourne or even Trent Taylor, who's on IR. Has nothing to do with any of them. They're not targeting wide receivers for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is.
No, and I completely agree with you on that. But that's not the way you said it at first. You said, what does Goodwin bring to this team? They don't even utilize him. Jimmy Garoppolo can't get him the football. Well, I'm just saying, like, you could say, well, what does any receiver do on this team? Because we haven't seen that yet. We haven't really seen Goodwin this year. We haven't really seen Pettis this year.
Well, we know
Debo. Like, we've just seen Goodwin and James this game who performed and James had 1 catch for 40 yards. Ward had 3 catches. That's it. Like, we don't pass the ball a ton. You know, just like going back to this week, I mean, you know, we were talking about it last week as Jimmy Garoppolo has only thrown 2 games over 300 yards. The receivers just haven't been used because our run game is so good. So we can't we're all of us as fans here are saying we need a receiver, we need this, we need that, right? Well, now we have a receiver, right? But I was just trying to say a point as in I think Goodwin complements Emmanuel Sanders on this field. If you have a Goodwin, Emmanuel Sanders, and a Debo, or a Bourne, or a James, or a Taylor, and a Kittle in a set, you know, 3 wide receiver set and 1 tight end, the middle of the field is open.
Yeah.
Because you're going to use Goodwin to stretch. The linebackers are going to have to cover Kittle, and there's no corners that are covering speed across the middle with, you know, Emmanuel Sanders doesn't have breakout speed, but he has good good route running skills to get open. He's kind of like Pettis does, but he's more of a Pettis going across the middle, but catches the football.
So, all right. So Sanders now acclimated on this roster. Who's taking the mother freaking backseat? That's the question I got. Who's taking the backseat? Is it Pettis? Is it who? Who's taking the backseat?
I think it's Jordan Matthews.
Okay. So Matthews takes the backseat because that's the guy that they brought in. You know, when Debo got hurt or somebody went down, they brought in the wide receiver, they brought in Jordan Matthews. Now, I would like to see now having this piece, this caliber of a piece. I know Mike doesn't agree that Sanders is the best receiver on the team, but I think it's
dude, you were
no, he didn't. He didn't say that. He did not.
He didn't physically say it.
It's your reaction. So when we said it, your action was like you look like a zombie. But
I think I think before I just say, yeah, he's the best, right? So just like earlier when you said he's the best receiver we've had since Terrell Owens, I thought you were talking about their history, right? And you said no. Well, I can't tell you that he's the best on this team unless I include his history. He's got 3,000-yard seasons under his belt. If you take that away and I'm only looking at what he's doing right now at the age of 32, I can't confidently say that he's the best receiver. If I give those same 30 receptions to another receiver on our team, they might be better than him. So when you guys said he's immediately the best wide receiver on the team, what is that based off of? Is that ability? Is that production? Because it depends on what you're talking about. So when you guys said that, I'm thinking how do they mean that? I wasn't saying no, he's not, or yes, he is even. But I was just trying to figure out what y'all meant, because as soon as we talked about him coming here being the best receiver since Owens, I was like, well, Randy Moss was here. I'm including the history. Y'all said, no, that's not what I meant. I meant what they're going to do here. Well, then to that point, then I got to only look at this season. I don't know if he's the best guy. I still don't know. But, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just saying, I'm thinking about it. That's all.
I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't when he said it. I said he is by far the best receiver on this team right now coming in here, and you did it. That was saying right now. You can't put anybody else up against him compared to what he's done in the NFL.
I mean, even this year, you said, I mean, Nick brought up his stats this year. He had 30? You said 30 receptions, over 300 yards. I mean, that's better than any receiver that we have on our team. And that's because of the lack of the throws to the wide receivers. I get it, bro. I got you. It's
you do know that we lead the league in drops, though, right, Mike? We're last in drops. You do know that. Yes,
no, we're not.
Look it up.
We are not.
Look it up.
I'm going to look it up, and then you're going to be like, okay, and then you're going to keep moving. But I want you to say, okay, I was wrong after I pull this up, right? After I pull this up, I want you to say, okay, I was wrong.
Okay, right? I'll say I was wrong.
I'll pull it up right now.
So what I'm trying to say is, all right, Jordan Matthews takes the cut. I think having the caliber of what we know that Emmanuel Sanders can do on the football field. We've seen him prove in two different offenses, my guys, and the Steelers offense and the Broncos offense, that he can produce, right? He's proven that. So we're hoping we're getting that part of him to produce in this type of an offense. No? Oh, I don't know. I don't understand Mike's mannerisms, yo. He's
I'm sorry because I pulled up the list here. The Niners have 6 drops on the season. We're 24th. The first place team has 11, and then there's another 11, then there's another 10, then there's a 10, then there's
I was wrong that we weren't last. We're 24th. We're 8 from the bottom of the list.
Nick, no,
we're still horrible. We're still horrible.
Nick, stop talking and listen, bro. We're 24th, and 32nd only has 1 drop. The lower you are or the higher your number, the better your team is at drops, bro. You're looking at the list backwards. You're looking at the whole list upside down, bro. The number 1 team has the most drops. The 32nd team has the least drops. We're 24th. We're in the bottom third of the league, bro. We're not bad on drops. We're just not using wide receivers. That's it.
But
yeah, bro.
You were wrong, Nick. Just say you were wrong.
Okay, I was wrong. We're not last. I was wrong. We're not last. But now let me say this. We're 3rd in the league with less completions to us and drops. The ball hasn't been thrown to them as many times, and we're still a 3rd at the bottom of the league with drops.
They got to catch them balls, bro.
So how do you compare? This is where I don't understand, Mike. How do you compare somebody who gets 80 receptions thrown and they only have 10 drops compared to 24 receptions and they have 12 drops? That's still bad. So
you want to break down by percentage now? Because you're still going to be wrong. Do you want to break down by percentage?
No, I'm just trying to say to you. Can I finish what I was saying?
I'm waiting for you to say it.
Okay. So if I throw you the ball 24 times and you only catch it 12, right? Your percentage is going to be higher than somebody who you throw the ball to 60 times and they catch it 30 times.
That's the same percentage.
Same thing. That's 50%.
Okay, but you're still we don't throw the ball as much as other people, but still have a ton of drops. That's what I'm trying to say. You're still at the 3rd of the bottom of the league with less chances. It's still numbers.
I'm not going to argue with you about. All right, okay. I don't know where you're trying to go with this, so I'm just going to let it. I don't know where you're going with it.
We have less targets and a tremendous amount of drops compared to targets.
We have 6 drops, right?
We have 6 drops in 6 games, bro.
You're not compared to
what Nick. He's throwing the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo's throwing the ball more than 20 times every game. That's 120 throws. We have 6 drops as a team, not even the wide receivers, as an entire team. And you're acting like the world is on fire. We don't catch every pass, but we're not dropping balls like that.
I'm not acting like the world's on fire. I'm just saying that we need receivers that will catch the football. You're just basing it off 6 balls.
No, Emmanuel Sanders knows how to get penalties. He knows how to get them flags drawn and pass interference calls. I just think having him as a vet helps us, guys. Whether he becomes a decoy or the slant guy, the route, the deep guy, I think they're interchangeable. Like they use Marquise Goodwin on slants and cross routes and all that stuff, and he also could take the top off the D. And maybe this is. I would say that Debo is the fighter guy, right? He's the guy that's going to go up and grab and go try to get the ball. You know what I'm saying? His little self is going to go try to do some Tyreek Hill stuff. That's what Debo. That's a Debo Samuel. He was missing the past couple of this past week. You know what I'm saying? And we could have definitely used him, and he would have been back at home playing in Maryland. And that would have been a good game for him. Unfortunately, he had the injury with the groin. I believe he's going to be a stud. I think that if Emmanuel Sanders do what he's supposed to do, he might get re-signed and offered a contract going forward with the 49ers and ending his career here in San Francisco. I think that Dante Pettis just got to find his niche and stay consistent with it, yo. Like he's a slippery guy, man. He could slip in and out of routes, but when he catches the ball, he finds a way to make the play. It's just that he got to stay or learn how to protect himself and stop getting dinged up. Who else we got?
I got to give Pettis some credit though, because the last 2 games he's been going in
exactly
traffic. He's been trying to be a better
player,
contact catcher, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but that last that interception that Jimmy Grove, he didn't try at all.
His eyes.
Because that, you know why? Because that interception that Jimmy threw in the game, the one turnover Jimmy had, Pettis didn't even try for the ball, bro. Get an offensive pass interference or something, my dude.
Yeah, Shanahan said the same thing. But if I'm Pettis, or even if I'm a head coach in that specific situation, that ball was underthrown in that weather, I don't want my receiver trying to stop and turn and get back. I'm sorry, I don't. Personally, I don't. I could see if they were both going up for it and high point at the same time, and he wasn't aggressive enough, like breaking up the pass. That ball was legitimately behind him as he's running in the opposite direction. In that weather, in that rain, he would have had to try to turn.
Look, a player with an innate ability, Mike. A player with the ability to go do that would have did that junk, yo. It's just not in his nature to do that. It'll never be in his nature to do that. I don't think that's in his DNA. I think he's a guy that catches the ball in stride type guy. But I think a Debo Samuel would have stopped, cut, went up, did something.
We've seen him do that. And he came down with that ball.
Even in this weather, I think he would have been the type of player to do something like that. That's what I'm saying. Fair. That's all I'm saying. I'm not like doodling on Pettis, whatever. Just go out and help your quarterback make a play, bro. We know that Jimmy underthrows balls. Pause. We know that happens in games, but go help your quarterback.
Technically, he didn't really underthrow the ball.
I didn't think so either. I'm just going off what Mike was saying because it just was to the safe. The safety came up and grabbed it.
He didn't underthrow that ball. He didn't
looked like the ball was perfectly
thrown. The safety just came over. Pettis was like this about to catch the football.
Yeah, and the safety just
right in front of him.
He did a Madden interception, yo.
He didn't hold the safety long enough to get the ball there. That was totally on Jimmy Garoppolo.
And Jimmy said that. Jimmy said that in his presser. He said that was my fault.
He stared him down the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Jimmy said that was his fault. But all I'm saying is, dang, Pettis, unless Pettis didn't see, stop, drop, shut him down, open up shot, do something. Like, go get off OPI. That's when it's worth it.
Look, what it all boils down to is we make a trade. We're in win now mode. This definitely helps our team one way or another. Correct?
Correct.
We're 6-0.
Correct.
We're moving on to the Carolina Panthers.
Correct. Let's talk about it, baby. And now we got another weapon they got to defend. Let's go. Get right into it.
Exactly. So, Mike, I want you to start us off here on previewing part 1 of Carolina. What are you looking forward to in this game the most?
I can't wait to see Quan Alexander against Christian McCaffrey. That's what I'm most looking forward to. I think, never mind, I'm not going to say it. Christian McCaffrey can absolutely be controlled and contained in the run game.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, if you look at his fantasy numbers, he gets a ton of carries, he gets a ton of receptions and all that stuff, but it's not always for a bunch of yards. And he's their goal line guy. They like to get him the ball in space around the goal line. Fantasy football will have people thinking that this guy is a 2,000-yard rusher. when he's not. We can absolutely control him in the game, and I'm looking forward to that. That's the first and probably the biggest matchup right there. That's probably the one right there.
The only concern, I believe, I agree with you, Mike. I believe that they plug him on the run. I don't think he's gonna wish he doesn't run the ball. Here's where Christian McCaffrey can be utilized, and this is where I feel we have to figure out a way to adjust in the screen game, in the outside zone game, where they're gonna throw the ball to him in the flat. He makes that one person miss if he can. This is on the other teams. I'm not sure he'll be able to do that on the 49ers. Can the 49ers, like they've been doing, consistently get all the 11 guys to that ball carrier? That's what we got to have to do to keep him from turning a 9 to 12 to 22-yard gain to a minimum 2-yard gain or yards of loss. Screen game, take it away. And once you take that out, once you deplete Christian McCaffrey, once he's gone, decapitated, excommunicado, whatever you want to call it, it's all going to be on Kyle Allen. And once it's all on Kyle Allen, it's a wrap. Because them boys on the outside are going to have burger sandwiches ready to catch that cat. But they're going to go after him like it's something that's. And if the weather is decent, if it's not less muddy, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I can't wait to see what pictures they post up this week in San Francisco. They ain't going to be sliding on the ground. They might start flying in the air or something like that because you're going to see all kinds of stuff happening. I'm just telling you, man. I like what you said, Mike. But the only my threat is about my threat. The concern, not a threat. The concern I have with CMC is him being a dual threat running back, and that's that outside catch the screen pass. He's their best pass catcher, man. He's their best pass catcher and their best rusher. So apply the pressure, contain him. We Gucci. I ain't worried about it.
The thing about Christian McCaffrey is I just heard a stat on him today. I was watching the Carolina Panthers game against Tampa, and the one guy was saying, because it was in London, so Steve Mariucci was saying this guy is the complete back. He catches the football, does this. He doesn't leave the field. He's on 96% of their snaps. So, Mike, where you came in and said you're interested to see Quan Alexander on coverage with him is what I was going to talk about. Was there were a lot of times where Christian McCaffrey in that game against Tampa, the linebackers didn't even cover him. He chip blocked and then just stayed back like he was blocking, puts his hands up to block, and then just slips out, and he's wide open for 20, 30 yards.
Wow.
And that happened probably 5 or 6 times. So that's going to be a huge factor, and that goes to what Wayne was saying as well, is getting after this guy in the screen game. And that's where he does a lot of his damage, right? He doesn't really do a lot of his damage running the ball between tackles. I mean, he does damage there, but not nearly as much as he does with the screen game. So this week is going to be pretty big with Quan Alexander covering him out of the backfield, or however we do it. It depends. We may not even put Quan on him.
Right.
We may go with a different matchup and put maybe a Kwan Williams or a Jaquiski Tart or, somewhere in that nature, a corner of some sort on him to cover him coming out of the backfield.
And we got to wrap and tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to make sure we finish through. We haven't had that problem this season, but we can't start having that problem in this game. We got to continue to finish through those tackles. And again, if we could just get all 11 guys on the ball carrier each and every time, it will make that cat not want to run that ball. The one thing the 49ers do is they do a really good job at defending the run. Yeah, they might gash us up a little bit in the beginning. Adjustments are made, and then it's boom pow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping Tart is playing Olsen. Like I want him on the tight end. So I'm hoping that's the matchup we get from the tight end. Haven't heard Tart's name too much this season. That's a good thing. That means he's doing pretty damn decent out there on the field.
Except for when Sherman's shouting him out at the podium. You know what I'm saying? Like he's making sure his guys get some love out there.
I love it.
Defense. And we got to make sure, like I said, contain McCaffrey. It's not impossible to do. If you look at his stats from just this last game against Tampa Bay, I know they had a bye week, but before that, 22 attempts, only 31 yards, and he had 4 receptions.
That was against Tampa.
Yeah, they shut him down.
Touchdowns, but that was on the goal line.
Right, but he had 2 touchdowns that game, but they were, like you said, they were both goal line. They shut him down. And let me tell you, if we control him, the defense is going to get after that quarterback. Like Wayne said, it's over. Christian McCaffrey is the only thing I'm worried about in this game, making it interesting.
That's the only thing, bro.
That's it.
I'm not worried about Moore catching or Samuel catching a little slant and taking it 10 yards, getting 1 first down. We've let receivers get first downs before, and it results in 0 points. That's not where our concern. Our concern is to take away their weapon. You game plan for their weapon. You don't got to worry about a Cam Newton. You focus on the game plan. You don't even got to necessarily game plan for a Kyle Allen. He does like to take off and scramble every now and then, but
he's no good under pressure. I saw the PFF numbers.
I was just going to say that. He's like 46% under pressure.
Dang.
I think that's what it is. Like around
46% completion percentage, and then he's got like a 35 rating.
Dang.
Yeah, like he gets bodied. Oh, and something nobody's talking about with this kid, if I'm not mistaken, he's fumbled the ball like 6 times already. Like he stands back there.
He had like 2 in 1. I think he's got 6 or 7 fumbles, Mike. I think you're right.
Yeah. Like he gives the ball, and you know who's going to get that ball from him. Ford coming around that corner, that ball is coming out, bro.
Out.
This game is this. All right, I don't want to sound too confident, but
no, I feel you.
I'll tell you what, though, their defensive front does scare me a little bit. Their front 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Brian Burns is playing out of this world. You got your guy over there from Tampa. Brain fart. Gerald McCoy.
I forgot about Gerald McCoy.
Who's having a pretty decent game.
Quan Short. They have a nice front.
So Quan Short is not hurt. I thought he was injured.
Who?
Quan Short. I thought he was out.
I thought he played 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I could be wrong. My bad.
I think he played against but I mean they also got a good linebacker in Luke Kuechly.
Hey man, we played against good fronts before. That stuff don't phase us, man. I'm more concerned about the middle of the section of that joint right there, man. It's the Kuechly. Kuechly is the CMC on there on the defense. He's the guy that controls their defense. I know they got a good front. I just think that Kyle figures out ways to neutralize the front. I'm worried about how those intermediate pass routes, Kuechly covers. He covers pretty damn well, don't you say? He's a pretty good cover linebacker. Like, my question is, like, how do we stay away from him, yo? Like, how do we not run his way? Because he's a problem.
Quan Short is injured. You were right. He's only played in 2 games this year.
He's on the IR. I just looked it up.
I don't know. I didn't know if he was on IR. I just looked up his numbers here.
Oh, Addison's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the line. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mario Addison. He's really good.
Hey man, they're not as good as.
So their defensive ends are Brian Burns. They've been using Addison inside a lot too, I believe, and then Bruce Irvin is their other defensive end, and then Gerald McCoy is a defensive tackle. And you even got Terry Poe there. Their front's pretty good.
And you got Kuechly behind them, bringing up they got a good front seven. They absolutely do.
They do.
So it's gonna be a fun game, especially if we don't get any reinforcements back on that offensive line or juice. If those tackles don't come back, either one of them, it's gonna be a long game. It's gonna be a long game.
I agree.
We also got to remember who we're facing here too. Eric Reed coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's why I said I wanted to see Alexander and CMC is because the rivalry. They played against each other a lot, so that's why I was saying that.
Yeah, and I mean it's going to be pretty interesting up front. Like I said, I'm not. I've said this for the last 3 weeks. Each week that we get into this schedule, it gets a little bit harder, and we've seen that, right? Whether it's the teams that we've played already to the teams we're going to play. We're going to play more teams with more winning records. So it's obviously going to get harder. The pressure, even though that people say there's no pressure, but there is pressure there to stay undefeated. You don't want to lose, right?
Well, any team that we play, especially in the NFC, is going to say, we gave them their first loss.
Right.
We're going to get the best that ever. There's the days of us being overlooked.
Right.
And we can talk about how the media doesn't respect us and all that stuff, but the teams, the locker rooms, and all that, every single one of them want to call the Dolphins, the 73 Dolphins, say, "Hey, we did this for y'all." You know what I'm saying? So we see. I got this message up here from Eric. What starters are we getting back for the game? I unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what starters are supposed to be coming back. Do you?
Nah.
Kyle Nelson.
Yeah. Get our long snapper back, guys.
Kyle Nelson will be coming back. Kyle Nelson will be coming back. Joe Staley's still optimistic about coming back. Depends on how he does in practice this week. Debo should be back. I believe he's practicing now.
Good.
Matt Breida's fine. He just had his eye. I seen somebody comment earlier, is Matt Breida playing or is he in the concussion protocol? But it was never a concussion. It was just he got poked in the eye. Marquise Goodwin.
I think they did evaluate him for a concussion. They thought it was a concussion, and then they said no. I think they evaluated him, they ruled it out, and then it was an eye thing, right?
Right.
Isn't that how it worked with him?
Yeah, and the same thing with Marquise Goodwin. He was evaluated for a concussion, but ended up coming back into the game and then has been practicing since. So the only ones off the injured list that I know that we're going to be getting back possibly is Debo, Joe Staley, and that's it. Akello is possibly going to be next week, not this week. That's all I've heard so far.
So we'll see what happens. And then we have this comment from Bailey. No disrespect intended. Our receivers have 10 drops per PFF, which is 10th worst. Meanwhile, we rank 30th when it comes to total attempts. Jimmy G drop rate 6%. That's 10th highest, which is 10th worst is what he's saying. One thing I will say is PFF has their own entire grading system. And that includes drops, that includes tackles, that includes sacks. I don't go to them for stats that everybody else in the league keeps, that they keep different. So I'll never quote a PFF sack, because if Wayne and I go and sack Nick, they give both of us one sack. Doesn't make any sense. There was only one sack in the game, but they don't count halves. So how they do certain statistics that are different from everybody else, I don't count those. Now, if that helps your argument, give them 4 more. That's fine. It's still not the worst in the league, no matter how you break it down. So that's all. It is what it is. I've never understood that whole I sack him and you sack him with me, and it counts as 2 sacks. It doesn't make any sense. Can you imagine how many sacks the 49ers must have according to PFF right now? Because our boys have shared on a lot of sacks. They get to the quarterback a lot at the same time. And those numbers have to be insane. And that's probably why they like our defensive line so much, though, at PFF. So,
yeah. Here's a question from Large Churro real quick. Is Mcglinchey coming back for the Arizona game? I think it was either Arizona or Green Bay that he was supposed to come back for, right?
Mcglinchey is supposed to be out for, I thought, two more games were missing him, right?
Yeah, I believe. So what would that be?
That would be this game and then the Seattle game, correct?
Right. But I don't know if he comes back for Seattle or if he misses that one.
And then that would be the first Arizona game. Right? Then that would be Arizona.
Right.
This sums it up right here, Mike, for you. I said this sums that up for you right there.
I didn't say it.
We've said that.
I get accused of hating on enough stuff over here.
All right. So let's see. We know this. So let me ask you this. We know this defense has been what's been carrying this team, correct? Do you guys agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
All right. Do you think that this week's game is something that we're going to have to depend on the offense as well?
I think you come out with the same defensive plan. You came out with the same smash mouth. Do your thing. Yes, you want your offense to come out and score points, right? We want your offense. The game plan is for the offense to score, point blank, period. The question is, can they execute? Can they not drop wide open passes? Can they make plays, get inside the end zone? Can Jimmy G not overthrow a ball or whatever like that. That's what you hope your defense can do. I mean, your offense can do. So I think the offense puts up points, man. I think this is a statement game. You teams want to beat us, but we want to beat them too. We want to beat teams. I think this is a statement game, man. You know why this is a statement game, guys? And it won't even be counted as a statement game because they were out with when we win this game, they'll be without Cam Newton, right? But all they're talking about is CMC and this is that and the third and blah 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 blah, and their front seven and blah blah blah. It's gonna be the biggest test the 49ers have. I'm tired of hearing that shit every single week. Every week is the biggest test. We know that. Respect what we do. We apply pressure on the quarterbacks this year. We get turnovers. Look at me. We get turnovers. I'm trying to be straight in the camera. We get turnovers. Okay? We ain't did that before. We ain't did that since 94. Okay? And we taking stuff to the house. It's different. So, yes, to answer Nick's question, we're going to put points up. Do we have to rely on the offense? You should rely on your offense every week. That's their God blessed job to go out there and score. But I think the defense is going to come out and do what they do. They're going to bend and not break.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Look, there's some numbers that are really, really important, right? The 49ers' last 5 games, 33, 38, 37, 36, and 32.
Sound like somebody
quarterback ratings.
Time of possession.
Oh, time of possession.
The offense, listen, the offense has a game plan here. And there's silly me. I think that's part of the reason why the passing numbers aren't the way they are. They're keeping the ball on the ground to keep the defense fresh. We're going to run the ball. We're going to throw when we have to, and we're going to pound the rock. We're going to physically beat teams up. I think that's the offensive game plan this year. Maybe right now. Maybe Kyle's going to flip a switch and try to present something new as we get closer to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because we know Kyle can dial up pass plays. Right. We know that he does the misdirection and all that stuff, and he gets people wide open. And we're still seeing that happen, just at a much smaller scale than what we're used to seeing, right? So they are running the ball. They're running it a lot. That one game where we ran it 40-something times and only got 99 yards, what game was that in? That was
last week, not Washington, the week before.
Who did we play?
The Rams.
The Rams, 41 attempts. The run game was ineffective, but it was efficient for the purpose of the game. We're going to keep the defense fresh so that way they can keep pressure on Jared Goff and let him give us the game. That's what their plan was. And so I think that's what the offense – I think that's the job of the offense this week as well. I'm not saying that we're going to go out there and do that. They just need to be efficient to what their plan is. Don't let the signing of another wide receiver say, all right, well, you know what? We used to run the ball 35-plus times a game. Now we're going to throw the ball 35-plus times. We're going to run it 20-something. Like, don't let that be the reason why you change up who and what you are. You're building something here because you tire that defense out. Nick, you said it when you prefaced this question. It was the defense carries this team. What do we need the offense to do? We need the offense to continue to control the clock. Time of possession is just as important. It's another phase of the game that we have to maintain the higher parts of it in the NFL. We had the ball. I don't know if y'all heard the last half of that game. The Redskins ran 14 plays in the entire second half. That's it. 14 plays the entire second half of a football game. We ran the ball. We converted first downs. We went for it on fourth downs. We converted. And then when the defense came, here come your 3 and outs. Keep the defense fresh. Let them beat up opposing quarterbacks and offensive lines. Get the ball back and keep the ball back. We play keep away. Can't beat us if you can't get the ball.
Well, and that goes to a good point that you were saying is Kyle Shanahan's systems have always been through run first, right? And he schemes up some good runs the way that his blocking schemes are, whether it's outside, inside, whatever it may be, outside zone, inside zone, misdirection. We always have an answer for the run game, right? And obviously last week we didn't run the football very well, but technically we ran the football pretty well for the conditions. But so last week against the Skins, we didn't run the ball stats wise very well. going back to the Falcons game, we only, like you said, we ran the ball 40 times for 99 yards. Other than that, we've been running the football 150, 175, 200 yards. So we're definitely running the football really well. I don't know what our stats were last week with running the football. I think we were over 100 yards.
I don't remember because it didn't look like we were running the ball as effective. I mean, I think it just didn't. It didn't look. Maybe at total yards as a team.
We finished with a total of 137 rushing yards.
Okay,
137.
And then I think Coleman led us in rushing. I can't remember.
The Russian leader for the Niners was Tevin Coleman.
67 yards or something?
62. Yep.
62. Yeah. All right. So, and then Jimmy had 20 yards rushing.
Which, by the way, somebody in here predicted that. We did a show before the game, and we asked for everyone's like bold predictions and all that. And somebody said Jimmy was going to have 20 rushing yards, and I said that's going to double his total for the entire season. And whoever that person was, not only did Jimmy run, he juked somebody, man. I didn't realize it. Yeah, I didn't realize it watching live, but it was a legit. I thought he was just tripping. You know that one play Steve Young has where he's just stumbling and bumbling.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like when I was watching it live, right? But then I saw the replay from the other angle. Jimmy legit put the foot in the ground and stuck it, and then
his bad leg he put in the ground and stuck.
That's what it looked like, bro. That boy healed.
I'll tell you what, it looked good live. I'll tell you that.
That man healed.
So, but anyway, still 137 yards. So what was that? 117 yards if you take away Jimmy's 20 yards rushing. We still had 117 yards rushing in that slop. And there were a lot of times in that game that the holes were there.
Yeah.
If they could have just made, like, I seen Tevin Coleman trying to make the one cuts and just slipping. But they were there.
There were a lot of tackles for loss on our running backs in that game also. There were a couple of pitches that didn't go anywhere. They were negative.
I wasn't feeling those pitches, man.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm just saying, like, we're really good at running the ball when we need to, when they want to. And so we'll see what happens. This game, I did think that last game without the weather was going to be the game that Jimmy decided to air it out more. I am anxious to see him do it, but I mean, maybe that becomes this game. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Santa Clara this weekend, but maybe that's this game. Maybe this is the game where he's got his new toy. Let's see what he can do.
I mean, they were clearly trying to throw the junk last game. Jimmy
second half, he was fearless with that ball, right?
Yo, Jimmy was letting cats know, man, I could grip a wet one, yo. I could throw it.
Wayne, let me ask you this. You were there with me.
Yes, sir.
And you were watching it. You were kind of low too. So and Mike had asked this question when I tried to jump on the show for the overreaction show, as in, did Kyle Shanahan make a difference in, I forget how you phrased the question, adjustments in the second half. And I don't think he made so many adjustments. I think that the receivers were just running better routes in that second half compared to what they were running in the first half. To me, like being there, I just want to see what your thought on being there is. I would watch, certain receivers or whatever, and they just couldn't get any type of grip, couldn't get their routes, couldn't get open. And a lot of times they just weren't getting open. But then the second half looked a whole bunch different in the way that the receivers ran their routes.
I think it was because it was a different sets of receivers. I think it was guys that don't be getting no burn. That was like, yo, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna make this the best game I've ever had. Or it could have been that they put on different cleats. I don't think Kyle changed the game plan. I think I said at the halftime show that Kyle was getting out coached. And I guess I meant that because his plays weren't being executed and we couldn't put up any points. And their defense, it looked like that their offense looked that it moved the ball better than our offense in the first half. At least that's what I saw. So I made that comment. And I know I got S-face for it, but it was because of what I saw. I felt like Kyle could not figure out how to attack this defense. Their defense was making plays. But in the second half, I don't think Kyle changed up anything. I think, like you said, Nick, that the players He didn't change the play call. He still ran the ball, and with name started dropping back and throwing darts and dimes. It was the same stuff he was doing in the first half. It's just that they weren't executing in the first half, or they were a little timid. But in the second half, I think the players turned it up. I think the players went out there and said, "Hey, man, let's go out here and get this done, man. Let's slide around in the mud bowl and have a good time." I think the players found a way to get that done, and they dug deep. Being there, that's at least what I saw. So I'm agreeing with you, Nick. I think that's what I saw.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what you thought about that because it goes into who we're going to kind of see play this week in Bourne and Richie James, and they were out there and their routes looked a lot better than what we were seeing in the first half, and that was just what I saw in that game. And then Kyle Shanahan, came out and said, "We know who the mudders are, like who can play in the mud." And I'll tell you what, I was at that end zone for Kendrick Bourne. That should have been a touchdown.
That should have been a touchdown.
Touched.
He was never touched.
Never touched.
He was never, and I said that, and I'm like, yo, because I was on I think I was on the same side you were. You were just on the end zone, but I was on that corner right in the front on the field, and you were in the end zone. And I was like, yo, I'm right here. How are they missing this? Like, I can see it. There's 4 of them, and there's 2 of my eyes. So there's 4 times, so there's 8 eyes, and nobody saw him. Everybody saw him get touched. Come on, man. They don't want us to be great.
Did you see him get touched?
No, I haven't rewatched the game. I thought he got in though on the first. Like I only watched it the first time through.
They don't want us to be great, Mike. They don't want us to be great, bro. That's what it is.
Listen, I can't let y'all just get off easy saying there was no second half adjustments. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy, bro. Shanahan called longer, deeper, developing plays down the field. All right, it wasn't all the chunk and dunk plays. The passes started going to different wide receivers. That's adjustments. You're calling different routes for different guys. And Nick, you just said yourself, why did Shanahan say Marquise Goodwin didn't go back in?
He said because he just stuck with the hot hand of somebody who was running better routes in the mud.
That's changing your game plan. He made adjustments, bro. He saw what was working and what wasn't working. He made adjustments.
Right. I said that, though. I said that. But from the receivers, that what I saw, I don't think I seen a difference in play calling.
He was taking longer, deeper shots down the field, giving Jimmy way more time back there. He used play action significantly more in the second half.
I think the weather let up a lot too, though. The way the rain was coming down, it let up a lot in the second half. It wasn't as bad as it was in the first half.
Yeah, I would say
the field was bad.
I was saying going in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
the field was saturated. It was like a pool. But I think I mean, if that's what you call changing the game plan, then cool. Hey, I'm not gonna argue with you guys. We won that mother sucker, yo. We won that mother sucker. You know
I think every game has adjustments on the sideline between series, and then I do think that they also do it in between halves. I'm not saying that he went out here saying we're gonna have. I don't think Kyle Shanahan scripts entire games, so everything is definitely going to be about adjustments and making changes, right?
Yeah.
But how many times did we see Richie James on the field as a wide receiver these last 3 games?
That's true, Ramo, but
how many times?
Yeah, barely, if at all, right? Yeah. Richie James out there as a wide receiver.
I mean, I've been saying they need to use him more. Like I think they should utilize him and his skill sets.
And so like Marquise Goodwin's too fast. Maybe he was too fast to get his footing or whatever. There were changes that were made, and I think that happens every game. But 10 yards in the first half for Jimmy Garoppolo. He was 11 of 13 in the second half, and he put up 140-something yards in the second half, 142 or something like that. He finished with 152, right? Something like that. So, I mean, the guy went out there, and to me, it looked like a completely different playing out there. That's all. So I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I mean, I think it's just a matter of opinion as to what we saw compared to what you saw. I don't think anybody's right or wrong. I mean, obviously Kyle Shanahan's right, and either way, it was the right move, whatever he did, because we came out in the second half and we won the game. So
smash mouth football.
That I mean, we pretty much ran the second half, not meaning run the football, but we literally ran. I think another big thing that's going to be in this Carolina game is talking about Richie James. And I see Jim Brownie just put up a comment here. Richie James proved one thing, guys. He won't drop the ball, punt, kickoff return, 0 drops, 0 fumbles. When he catches the football, he's a difference maker in special teams. When he catches the football. There were a couple plays that he had last week that I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the ball being kicked to our side. I'm like, all right, Richie, you got room. He catches the football, and then he would make some defenders move. Like, miss them completely. Richie James, I think, is a big part of the special teams. I just wish that he would actually catch the football more and actually try to do more with it than what he does right now. Because there's a lot of times where he can catch the football and he just moves out of the way. He fair catches and then just moves out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And lets the ball bounce 10 to 15 yards behind him. But when he catches the football in a punt situation, he's really, really good.
I agree.
I just don't understand why he's not catching the football so much.
I don't know. I don't know if his nerves. It could be any little bitty thing. I'm with you. I'm almost to the point where I don't want him to catch the football because I feel like he's always unsure. Not because of his ability to what he could do after the ball. I feel like his mindset is like, I'm unsure what I'm gonna do, and that will cause mental mistakes. And I'd rather him fair catch the joint, obliviate the mental mistakes, and just let your offense go out there and do their thing. But there's times where he's catching the ball on the 8-yard line and he's got space, and I'm like, yo, get Jimmy to the 20, get him to the 25. Anything better than the 8. You know what I'm saying? Because you get to the 8, you get a penalty, you at the 4, and then it's just not, it just sets you up for whatever. Luckily, we're pretty decent on third downs, but I'm with you, man. Richie James is just a person you want with the ball in his hand, and he can be a dynamic playmaker. He just has to utilize his skill sets for every opportunity he gets. Not when he catches the ball in the pass, but even on special teams. He just doesn't realize how big of an impact he can be on special teams, yo. Like, I almost want to see DJ Reed back there returning punts or something. Somebody that's just gonna give us that, get us some yards. Get your quarterback some yards.
Mike, what's your thoughts on Richie James and his punt returns?
His punt returns, I like. I feel like he's always looking to go forward. I like him there. Trying to think, it's his kickoffs that make me worry sometimes. Like that one, I know I said it before, like probably twice on here, but that one where it was clearly going out of bounds. He ran up and caught the ball like the 10-yard line, right on the sideline. He tippy-toed for like 4 more yards and he went out of bounds. That ball was going out of bounds. We should have been starting at the 40. You know what I mean? It's the kickoff returns that make me a little bit more nervous. But I like him as a punt returner, man. He gets the ball and he goes forward. I do want to see him do more. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking for that excitement. Right now, he's doing the same thing that Trent Taylor was doing, but give me more. I want more. Utilize that speed. You know what I mean? That fancy footwork that he's got. Go out there and do a little bit more.
Yeah, so Eric Collier says, I believe this next game will be Jimmy's coming out party in terms of passing yards. I'm predicting we catch Carolina off guard with less runs and more passes, and he throws for 350-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. What are your thoughts on this, Wayne? You think that this is his coming out game, 350-plus?
I think if the weather is great, Jimmy's throwing the ball. I think they went out and got Emmanuel Sanders for that purpose only. I'm not sure that that's going to be his go-to target guy, but if I'm sure they'll keep the script nice and easy for Emmanuel to run certain routes. But all Jimmy needs is time and positive gains on his catches. If he gets that, his confidence just stacks up. I mean, name another quarterback that could throw interceptions and then come back and just throw the touchdown like it never happened, like the interception never. Like Jimmy has that, whatever I did and messes up in the past, I'm not gonna let that mess up my future type mentality. That's a tough skill set to have. That's a tough skill set to own.
Well, Jimmy has that once it happens mentality. Once it happens,
Okay,
it's done.
it's done. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, and then it's like he moves on to the next play, and that's a great. That can't be taught. So, with that being said, does he have his breakout game? I'm definitely thinking this is a 300-yard game. This is a home game, but you best believe we're gonna ground the ball out, and we're gonna look for screen passes. Look for anything that you haven't seen before to happen in this game. That's what that's what I'm looking.
All right, so we touched on Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, we know we have to shut him down. We've talked about being able to contain the screen passes with Christian McCaffrey. Are there any receivers or anything else that scare you on this offense that we're going to be going up against?
I mean, you definitely got to pay attention to Curtis Samuel and I said his name before, their other receiver. And don't sleep on Greg Olsen. He's old man Yeller, but he still could be a threat in the passing game. So they got guys, they got weapons.
You also Ted Ginn Jr. is there still too,
and Ted Ginn Jr., ex-49er. Hey, listen, they got weapons, right? But we got to get to the quarterback to take out their weapons.
Exactly.
Right? So you get to Kyle Allen. Nothing else matters. I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Christian McCaffrey wants to try to block a Nick Bosa or a D Ford or whoever he has to stay in and block. Now we keep saying that Christian McCaffrey this, Christian McCaffrey that. He's gonna have to block a lot in this game, guys.
Oh shit. So yeah, I stand corrected. West Coast just corrected me. He said Ted Ginn's not there anymore. He's with the Saints. I totally forgot that he went to the Saints.
Right. Okay.
I totally forgot that he was over there with the Saints.
Yeah, man.
So my bad, guys. My bad on that. That's
so yeah, man. Y'all, Christian McCaffrey ain't gonna be catching all everything. He's still gonna have his game plan. They're gonna hold him to those runs because he gonna get stuffed, but he gonna have to block. What if this is a game, which we don't ever have to do, but what if this is a game, right, that C-Lock comes down and says, hey, man, let me throw this exotic blitz at your ass just to see what you're going to do against it. Let me see if you're going to stay in and block or allow my guy to get to your quarterback and rattle his brain. You better not leave nobody coming in free. You better not let a safety come in at that cat. You better not leave a linebacker coming at your quarterback. You just better not. So with that being said, man, I don't what was their other receiver, guys? It's Curtis Samuel and Moore? Is that his last name?
Yeah, the other I'll tell you who their wide receivers are.
D Moore?
Yeah, DJ Moore, Greg Dortch, Curtis Samuel, Jarius Wright, and Brandon Zylstra.
Why do we ever worry about receivers, Nick? Why is that something that we overthink about? Like, what receiver went off on the 49ers so far this year?
Nobody.
Right. So, X that. The guy we take out, we said. The guy we apply pressure to, we said. The guy we got to look for as a safety net is Greg Olsen. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Well, him and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's the guy we got to take out. Right.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. Greg Olsen are probably going to be the two main parts of their offense being able to move the football on us because of the pass rush. Now, obviously, I love the way that we play the pass rush because we play the run on the way to the pass rush. So we play the run and then the pass rush. It's not like we're setting up blitzes or things like that. I'll tell you what, though, I think we may dial up more blitzes in this game.
I think this is it.
And the reason I think that we dial up more is to take that – you got that extra man so people can't get that ball. Kyle Allen can't get that ball off to a Christian McCaffrey. So Mike had to take off, guys. So we're just going to finish this up real quick, and then we're going to hop off here and bring you part 2 later in the week, obviously. I don't want to go too much into what we're going to do this week, so I'm kind of trying to focus on their offensive side of the ball and our defensive side of the ball, and then we'll touch on the offensive side of the ball and special team side of the ball moving forward on preview part 2. Obviously, once we hear a little bit more offensively as who we're getting back at practice and things like that. So But like I said, I think if we can rattle Kyle Allen, right? Not Josh Allen. Kyle Allen, and put him under pressure like we've been doing. I don't think these guys have faced a defense like ours yet. Like, I don't think that they faced a number 1, number 2 type defense. Obviously, nobody has unless they played the Niners and the Patriots. But I think that we need to obviously continue to bring the pressure, right? Continue to bring the pressure on these guys this week. And then also, if we can shut down the passing game and shut down Christian McCaffrey on the screen game. If you take out the passing game, you're taking out Christian McCaffrey of the screen game, right?
Exactly.
You're shutting down 2 birds with 1 stone. So we can't sleep on Christian McCaffrey, though. We can't sleep on Kyle Allen, though. We cannot sleep on this Carolina Panthers team going in. What are they, 5-2? 5-2?
You absolutely can't, Nick.
And they're 4-0 with Kyle Allen. So as bad as he's been playing, now they haven't really played any defenses like ours, like I was saying earlier, but they're still 4-0 with Kyle Allen.
But that's what I want people to say, Nick. They haven't played a team with a defense like this. I don't know what the Vegas points are. I don't really give 2 flying cares about that. But my point is, I still don't feel people are confident, not us, but people are confident in this 49ers thing. I know I'm hearing better stuff now, but it's like the Panthers and see McCaffrey and Kyle Allen is 3-0 as a starter for the Panthers and blah, 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 blah. But have you not seen what this team has done to star players, star receivers, star running backs, star quarterbacks? This quarterback's better than Kyle Allen that we've stopped, correct? Correct. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. These are guys that are better than Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen might have better situations than those guys and is able to win games, but these quarterbacks are better than him, and we found ways to contain. I don't know the game plan, Nick. All I know is it's going to be a game plan that's going to go out there and that's going to be executed, that's not going to break, that's going to go out there and try to secure a victory at home. That's just what they're going to. That we know that's what they're going to do, but we just don't know what the formations are going to be. We don't know this. We don't know that. I don't think Carolina knows that. That's my point. They're not going to know how to try to go at us. They're going to probably try to use what they've seen, and it's going to be something totally different. The only thing they're going to know is the players that are going to start. That's it. Now, how are we going to use those players? It's my confidence is back, man. My confidence is back. I never lost confidence. It was just that I'm not sleeping like you're not sleeping on Christian McCaffrey and these 5-2 Panthers. I'm not sleeping on. I'm not sleeping on Luke Kuechly.
I just looked it up. They're 4-2.
4-2 because they just had a bye.
They just had the bye. So I forgot they just had the bye. I see Tony's in here. I guess Mike sent him the link. I'm getting ready to get out of here, but I'll check in with Tony real quick. What's going on, man?
Tony.
What up? What's
good, brother?
What's good, man?
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. We talked about the Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, we talked about the Emmanuel Sanders trade. And we went into preview on what we have to do to stop the offensive side of the football for the Carolina Panthers for preview part 1. So give me your thoughts on the Emmanuel Sanders trade real quick.
I like it. I like them adding an experienced wide receiver. I understand he's 32 now. It costs us a third and a fourth, but we get a fifth back. I mean, it's not messing up our cap going forward as of right now. I mean, if we choose to extend them, I'm sure it's going to be structured properly, so we're not going to get hurt in the future. But I just like what he brings overall. He's gonna be a weapon that's gonna be added to this offense. That's gonna take the pressure off of Kittle. It's gonna take the pressure off of Pettis and Deebo Samuel. Overall, I love the addition of him. He's an experienced veteran. He's a good route runner. I just like it. He's going to be a plug-and-play player, in my opinion, because he's coming from Scangarello. Even though it's not exactly the same as Kyle's offense, it's very similar in verbiage with the play calls. Listen, everyone, I spoke to Mike earlier about this when I was on my break at work, and he keeps saying, well, look at his stats, look at his stats. And I'm kind of upset that Mike's not on the show tonight because I did a little research. Over the last, I'm doing research as I drive. This is bad. In 18, he had Keenum as his cornerback. He had 71 catches for 868 yards, 4 touchdowns. 17, he had 47 for 555 and 2 with Simeon, Osweiler, and Lynch. I think both Osweiler and Lynch are out of the league. In 16, he had 79 for 1,032 with 5 touchdowns between Simeon and Lynch. In 15, he had 76 for 1,135 with Manning and Osweiler. And then, of course, in 14, he had 101 catches for 1,404. I understand he was 28 years old, 27 years old during that season. He was a younger player. He does have an Achilles tear he's coming off of, I think, a year ago. But, I mean, the guy has talent. You can't deny that. And what he's going to bring to Kyle's offense, and Kyle's going to be able to open up the playbook with this guy.
Agreed. I agree, bro.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling Mike, and I was saying that this guy has 30 catches this year for 367 yards, which is pretty much almost the same amount all of our receivers have this year in general.
Correct.
So either way, I was saying that I think he is the best wide receiver right now on this team coming into this situation. But I'm also kind of interested to see how we use him. You said he came off an Achilles. I don't think there's anything. I think his Achilles is fine. I mean, like I said, he's been.
Oh, no doubt.
I've been watching him, play. He has had some injuries over the last 3 or 4 years. But like you said, his best year in 14 with 1,400 receiving yards. Even last year, he had 500 yards and then had the Achilles injury. He's got 367 yards already. With Flacco over there, them continually changing quarterbacks in Denver. Overall, like I said earlier, I like the trade. I think he helps us with the win now mode. Mike thinks that a receiver is going to be cut this year. He's not sure who, but he thinks a receiver is going to be cut this year. And then heading into this week's game, what do you think the biggest thing is that we don't, or what is the biggest thing that we need to do to stop this offensive Carolina's Panthers team?
I think the defense has to play very disciplined. And I think it's going to be the same thing like the last 2 games. The Rams, they came out and ran it, 9-10 straight times, right down the field, scored a touchdown. Washington tried to do it. We stopped them 4th and 1. But I guess these coordinators see something on film where they can take advantage of this front. But it only happens on the opening drive, and then after that, the clamps are put down. So I would like to see them come out and stop them early and, just stop that run game. But, I mean, listen, you can't take nothing away from this kid. This kid is phenomenal, McCaffrey. He's a dangerous runner. He's dangerous out of the backfield. Yes, he's smaller, but the guy has no problem running it up the middle. They do have a bigger interior offensive line than previous teams that we have faced. I just think they need to stick to the basics on defense. Everyone's got to play to their responsibilities and keys. And I think we're going to come out on top, but I mean, we can't come in cocky. I mean, we come in cocky, but we got to stay disciplined. You know what I'm saying? Play with that swagger.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last 2 weeks, and I've said this before, is I think that we've been coming out a little bit cocky, and it shows on those first drives, and they know how to beat us up with those scripted plays, right? But then I go back and I watch the tape a little bit, and that's why I asked somebody if you guys go back and watch the Washington game, or was it not the Washington game? Who we played before Washington?
The Rams.
The Rams game. One of those games, I don't know if it was the Washington or Rams game. I have to look back on my computer as to which one I was watching because I don't remember. But Fred Warner looked to be off a little bit, and he was like scraping. He's been in a lot of games. He's been scraping, and the run is coming right at him. But he's been on those drives. He's been continuing to scrape and allowing the running back to come up there and then get himself caught up in somebody who's already being blocked to where he can't make a tackle. If you guys have the all 22, go back and just watch Fred Warner a little bit. because on those drives, those were the things that were standing out to me the most. But I think he's been getting better. I think he's been getting better at those. But like you said, Tony, we have to play disciplined football, and we also have to be able to. I think if we get to Kyle Allen, obviously stop the run game, can get to Kyle Allen to dismantle the pass game, I think we'll be fine.
This Carolina offense kind of reminds me of our old offense under Harbaugh with Kaepernick and Frank Gore. They kind of hid Kaepernick because of Frank Gore. They ran the ball. They screened the ball to him. They made it easy for Kaepernick because of Gore. And that's kind of what I think this team's going to do with McCaffrey. I understand. With Allen and McCaffrey. I understand they're what? He's 4-0 as a starter.
Yep.
But I don't think he's faced a pass rush like this. So now you have to take this into consideration now. If it's like a second and long situation or it's a third and long situation, how is he going to handle the pressure from Bosa, Ford, Buckner, Armstead, whoever it is? How is he going to adjust to that, having heat in his face? Is he going to step up? Is he going to slide right, slide left, and try to move around the pocket? Or is he just going to stand there like a statue and try to dump off the ball and unload the ball? And because of the pressure, he's going to make an errant pass. So it's going to be a big test for him in that offensive line as well.
Agreed.
So the Panthers have played the Bears, the Bills, two good defenses. The Patriots only beat them 10-3. The Steelers, the Rams, they lost 30-27. The Buccaneers, they lost 20-14. Then they played the Cardinals and the Texans.
Well, yeah, they have what's his name. The Bears have what's his name,
and they shut Khalil Mack down.
See, but now that's the problem. If you only have one solid rusher, you could scheme against him. It's kind of like what we did with Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? You could run away from him. You could force him to really have to chase you, and he will tire out. You could roll the pocket away from him. But now, if you try to do that at Ford or you try to do that at Bosa, the opposite guy is going to be coming at you.
Yeah, so
plus we have the pressure up the middle.
The Panthers and Bills, the Steelers, and the Patriots game were preseason games. So we played the Rams, the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Texans, the Jags, and the Bucks. Those are their 6 games.
So they got swept by the Bucks, or they won one and lost one?
No, they won one and lost one.
Did they lose bad?
37-26 they won, and 20-14 they lost.
All right, see, now that's your perfect example of a team that applies pressure through the middle with Sue. I forgot the other guy. And they also had Shaq Barrett picked up from Denver as an edge. So that defensive line probably gave him fits. Now, did Allen play against that defensive line, or was it Cam Newton, or is it 1-1?
I believe it was 1-1 because it was the second game of the year. They played the Panthers. Or played the Buccaneers. I'm sorry. They lost that one. They've won their last 4. The Cardinals, the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Buccaneers under Kyle Allen. So, but yeah, so
Brian.
Yeah, so Cam played week 2. That was it. Week 1 and week 2, and then the rest have been Kyle Allen. So, like I was saying earlier, man, I think, and we're trying to stick to the offensive side of the ball here, and we can get in like for Carolina, so that when we go to talk the preview part 2, we can talk about defensive sides and their defensive side against our offensive side. So, Wayne pretty much put it in the concept is, and the perspective is, and Mike was saying earlier, Kyle Allen has fumbled the football like 6 or 7 times. Look for a good look for a good game out of D Ford, maybe forcing some fumbles. Look to for that pass rush to continue to play the run towards the rush of the quarterback. I think if we can shut Kyle Allen down and take him out of the game, it takes Christian McCaffrey out of the game as well. And obviously, I think we'll be okay with the rushing part of the game. But I'm worried. I'm not so worried about Christian McCaffrey in the run game as I am in the screen game.
Correct.
So, Niner Empire 999 says the same thing I say every week. 1 week at a time. Only thing guaranteed is we can go 6-10 right now. And that's really what it is. You got to take each week, with a grain of salt and just face the week that you're at. Obviously, we're on to Carolina this week, and I think that we need to be able to stop Christian McCaffrey and rattle Kyle Allen to win this game. Because I don't want to get into the defensive side of the ball, but I like their defensive front. I really like Carolina's defensive front.
They're the defensive tackle. What's his name? Quan Short. I think he's out.
Yeah, but Addison has been playing there and playing well.
Yeah, they're an aggressive front. I'll give them that. And it's going to be interesting to see how Kyle, if Kyle could use their strength against them and make them, slow their aggressiveness down in their pass rush or their run fits. But it's going to be interesting. And, it's going to be Kyle versus Ron Rivera. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Jim Bronny says Carolina's 8th in defense overall. Tim Duncan says Allen will throw an interception and fumble at least once. And that's pretty much it right there, man. But I don't want to keep everybody on here too much longer. We've been going for about an hour and a half, actually 2 hours now. So I want to save some stuff for preview part 2. If this is your first time here, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. As always, if this is your first time here, also set that bell for your notifications so you get any of our impromptu videos, breaking news and things like that, so you know that when we're going live. Check us out on Twitter and Snapchat, nothing but 9ERS. If you're following us on Facebook and Instagram, thank you for the support watching us over there as well. But head over like our page here on YouTube, as well as our Instagram page, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. You can check us out on the World Wide Web, nothingbutniners.com, where you can see our fan page, all of our interactive pictures with our fans of them wearing apparel or their cars or anything like that. And if you want to send something of your own over or comments, questions, or concerns, you can email us at the email below, nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com. Tony, that's all I got for tonight, man. You got anything else before we get out of here?
Not really. I just want to say one thing before we jump off. I remember for 2019, and the media asked Kyle about a typical wide receiver that he likes. And I specifically remember him saying a wide receiver in the mold of Emmanuel Sanders. Guess what? He got his guy. So let's see what he could do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm interested to see how they utilize this guy. I'm interested to see how many snaps he plays this week. Obviously, I think he'll play, because there was a report coming out saying that Denver really wanted him to play in Indianapolis this week. But the Niners also wanted him to play Sunday against Carolina. So, I'm interested to see what happens here with this whole Emmanuel Sanders trade, how much we utilize him, where he lines up. Does he line up outside? Does he line up inside? Who's the odd man out? There's a lot of things to look forward to this week. So, like I said, guys, set that bell for your notifications so that you can check us out. If we get any other news, we'll bring that to you, such as Joe Staley coming back this week, Kyle Nelson, who's going to be in, who's going to be out this week, as well as the players that are going to be playing or not playing, actives, inactives, things like that. So make sure you set that bell for notifications. Tony, that's it, man. I appreciate you jumping on with us. Once again, sorry we caught you at the late lather of the show, but we pretty much went over everything already once you came in. So you got anything else?
No, that's it, man.
All right, guys, I don't got anything else either. I'm 49er Faithful 365 on Twitter. My man Tony is at NJ Niner Fan 499. You see that on the screen there. Make sure you head over to Twitter and give us both a follow if you're on Twitter as well. Like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. And above all else, stay faithful. We out of here. Peace.